The Proudest podcast is brought to you by Proudest International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Georgios Ouzounis. Georgios is the head of AI research at Atlas AI. Georgios, welcome back to the show.
Hello, JP. Thank you for your kind invitation. It is great to be hosted in an Proudest podcast again.
Yeah, so Georgios, you were one of our earliest episodes. I believe you were one of the first 50 or 100 guests. So it's great to have you back. You've since changed roles, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But for those listening who didn't hear the original episode, can you give us a quick summary again of your background in technology? Talk to us about your journey within AI.
Absolutely. A lot has changed since, indeed. And with regards to my professional career, back then I was a vice president of data science with a company called Electrify, working primarily in medical image analytics. Whereas now, just as you mentioned before, I lead the AI research team at Atlas AI. And this is a team, I'm proud to say, of highly talented and skilled AI practitioners with focus on geospatial data analytics.
Excellent. So, Georgios, let's jump into that in a bit more detail. Our audience, primarily data professionals, they will understand the world of AI. But the area in which you're working in now is really on the bleeding edge of potential use case applications for AI. So can you talk to us in a bit more detail about the company, the product, and its mission?
Sure. So Atlas AI is a startup, and it is headquartered in Palo Alto. And it was founded roughly 5 years ago by 3 renowned Stanford professors with the aim of transferring state-of-the-art research from their labs directly into industry. It is backed by Airbus Ventures and the Rockefeller Foundation, among others. It is a company that experiences very, very healthy growth. The mission of the company is to develop unique technologies that help clients decide where to invest in emerging markets. So to go a little bit deeper on that, we apply cutting-edge AI to measure localized socioeconomic conditions in emerging markets where market information is typically scarce, if not inexistent. Think of Africa, for example, or Asia for that matter. We then use this proprietary data to analyze, to monitor, and to forecast regions of growth, stagnation, and vulnerability so that we can offer insights into where private and public organizations can grow most successfully and where investment can best drive the most economic and societal progress. And I would really like to highlight this last part as we take pride in promoting what we address as inclusive growth, making essentially a measurable impact into the lives of ordinary people in the regions that we study.
You talked about your proprietary data, which obviously we can't go into in too much detail, but I know from our conversations offline, there's a lot of interest in work with the use of the various data layers and how that helps you make these predictions for your customers. Can you speak to us in a bit more detail around what these data layers consist of, how you combine them, and how it helps Atlas AI provide your customers with such useful insights?
Absolutely. So our portfolio in general generates demand intelligence, and we have 2 main ways of product delivery. The first is via data layers, as you mentioned, that the clients can interact with using our platform. And the second is geospatial intelligence reports. Now, example of these data layers include the asset wealth index, for example, which is a raster layer that measures the average ownership of mobile assets, such as telephones, computers, TVs, cars, and so forth. Then we have a similar data layer that is referred to as the spending power, which is measuring the average daily spending capacity in US dollars. And by the way, both of these are within continental scale grids. So think of Africa, for example. We draw a grid there kilometer by kilometer each cell, and we compute the average spending power and the average asset wealth for each of these locations, for each of these grid cells. And we have another example, the electrification layer, which is reporting access to electricity for the local populations. I'm talking about population, the population layer, which is measuring population count, density, and demographics with very high detail. And I think one more that I think it's most certainly worth mentioning is the Atlas of Human Settlements. This is a recent addition to our portfolio. It is essentially a built-up base map delivered at 10 meter spatial resolution and updated annually for the time being. And it consists of several layers that inform us on presence, type, density, and evolution over time of man-made structures across the planet. And that we have many others, but I think that these 5 do summarize a good portion of our arsenal. Our work, as mentioned earlier, involves heavily cutting-edge AI and computer vision technology, and we champion in several domains. And we are among the few companies, I can say, that operate indeed at a planetary scale, meaning that our models and methods are globally consistent. They generate intelligence in a systematic manner for any location or geography, if that is not the world as a whole.
Thank you for that, Georgios. And a lot of the data layers ultimately support the various products that Atlas AI has available for your customers. Can you give us a bit of a summary of the various products available, what their core functionality is, and who are the types of organizations coming to you to use these products?
Yeah, so the products are indeed services built on top of those data layers. So I can list a few, such as site and asset monitoring, with an example being on non-residential facilities, such as commercial, industrial, warehousing buildings, and so forth. We have a very sophisticated change detection pipeline for temporal profiling of any asset of interest. We are practicing forecasting, and we forecast the extent and composition of the urban fabric in regular and near future time steps. Likewise, we do location intelligence and quite a number of others that are in the same spirit.
So Georgios, obviously each product will have specific functionality for a customer's needs, but a lot of what you're doing at Atlas has broader implications that could impact socioeconomic situations. It could impact government situations and natural disasters. I know there's a few projects that stand to mind which combines the multiple products that you have for a broader mission and impact. Is there any examples or stories that you could share with us which encapsulates the broader Atlas AI offering and helping on a particular project that's of importance to you?
Most certainly. We are among the key stakeholders in the prestigious Rockefeller Foundation Interconnected Pathways to Development project. And we work with other international organizations too in projects of broader interest, such as damage assessment, situational awareness, and event monitoring in regions of conflict or of natural disaster. And examples of these is indeed Ukraine and more recently Maui in Hawaii, in support always of reconstruction planning, budgeting, and prioritization.
Amazing. What a great project to get behind. That leads nicely then into my next question, which was going to be around, with all the work that you've done with Atlas and even looking back at your career to date, what stands out to you as being some of the proudest moments, whether it's advancement in technology or what the technology was ultimately used for? Are there any standout moments where you look back and think, oh, I'm really pleased with the work and the impact that we've had here?
Yeah, so I'm proud of the humanitarian aspect of our work. So I often hear and read statements regarding what is being addressed anyway as the cold nature or the cruelty of AI when making decisions that impact the lives of others. Well, in our case, at least, it is the exact opposite. Our work, product of AI, helps people directly or indirectly in a multitude of ways, among which is the improvement of livelihoods, the economics, and the opportunity generation in less developed parts of the world.
You are listening to the Aldis podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions. www.aldis.com.
I want to spend some time now talking about the future of Atlas AI and what you're particularly excited about. When you look at the increased investment in AI, particularly geospatial AI, Atlas is really at the forefront of a lot of this innovation, and you're positioned to really capitalize on the demand. So when you look at the future for Atlas AI, your team, the growth in store, what are you excited about? What can we expect to see from you guys? And speaking to an audience of data and AI professionals, if they're interested in what they've heard here today, what opportunities are there going to be for people in this space to come and join you?
Atlas AI is on a steady path of growth, and we are growing in a number of different ways. We are growing as a company, we are growing as a technology hub, and also our impact into this world is growing. So we are partnering with major international institutions and corporations, and this trend is here to stay. Our impact can be seen in quite a number of different environments right now. But talking about AI in general, and what the future of AI is, I just wanted to make a quick statement there. AI is moving away from its origins at a phenomenal rate. And things are happening essentially, and the tech of today is very, very different from what it was 10 years ago. And we're now witnessing, as an example, the greatness of things such as the foundation models and generative AI. And these technologies will dominate this industry and pretty much every other industry very, very soon. So while there is a substantial investment in existing and well-established methods and algorithms, companies that wish to be at the forefront of developments need to start exploring these new fields now. And looking at AI in 10 years from now, I cannot really imagine how the technology will evolve, but I can certainly see intelligent systems and subsystems taking care of all human-to-machine interactions and automating, if not perfecting, user experience. So with regards to AI, I'm pretty confident that everything is moving in the right direction. I think pending issues and problems remain in other fronts. And an example is the data front. And in our case, we're heavy consumers of satellite imagery. And we're often confronted with unrealistic expenditure when trying to address certain product costs, and not to mention, of course, tasking of satellites due to the bandwidth. And it is my firm belief that addressing these will be the driver for growth in this industry, as the current demand cannot be fulfilled by the existing players in the field. So we need essentially more, better, and cheaper imagery very soon, or otherwise this will impede developments and growth in the geospatial intelligence sector.
Georgios, final question for me then, bringing it back to yourself and your team at Atlas AI. As the head of AI research, you've shaped the overall strategy for innovation at the company, but you're also heavily involved in the leadership of the team and attracting talent. When you're speaking to talented individuals about Atlas, its mission, its environment, its culture, what is it that you tell them about Atlas AI that gets them interested enough to join you guys over some of the other great companies also trying to hire top talent?
I think a feature that is most certainly resonating very well with candidates is the fact that we stand out from the rest of the companies that specialize in geospatial analytics for the fact that we are tackling a problem that has never been dealt with before. So socioeconomics combined, or not combined, but actually approached via AI and satellite imagery is rather unique. And the fact that we do not appear or present ourselves in this industry, in this sector, as yet another company that sells polygons is actually very attractive and very intriguing. They want to know, what is it that we do? Why is it that makes an impact in people's lives? And how do we do this? And this is most certainly a successful presentation of the company.
Georgios, thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's great to hear about the amazing work you're doing with Atlas AI. It's such an interesting space and an incredible use of AI as a technology. And when we hear you talk about the mission, the products, the projects, and what you're proud of, it's clear that this can have a life-changing impact to so many regions. And it also sounds like an exciting place to work for people who are working in AI as a whole. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Atlas AI the best of luck in the months and years to come. And we very much look forward to having you back on the show again in the near future. Thank you so much.
JP, thank you very much for the invitation again. And it was a great pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Proudest podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.aldist.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.